Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling Podcast. Today, I've got the privilege of having Imran Zedi with us today from Right at Home Realty. In his particular office, there's like 1,080 agents, and somehow you have to herd all those cats. Imran, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Umar. Thank you for having me. And it was really nice seeing you in person on Wednesday, or was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday, right?
Where I came
Um,
to do a presentation with you guys.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, the agents loved it. They loved having you there, and they felt a little bit challenged at times by your thought provoking questions, but everyone walked away with something.
Brilliant. So so what's it like having that many agents in an office? You have to. So what's that like having to lead an office like that?
It's easier than it sounds. A lot of agents are self-sufficient. Um, in terms of the role, some of it is about just managing the office itself, managing the branch, making sure we're on track with our goals and targets as a branch. Some of those include recruitment. They also include hosting trainings and providing uh, opportunities for agents to grow and become better. And then there's obviously the other side of it where you have to be there as the support system for the agents. If an agent is doing uh, not a lot of business and they're seeking to you know do more than what they're currently doing, being able being there for them and making sure that you come up with a plan and figure out maybe what has gone wrong for them, and how they can essentially get more sales, get more transactions under their belt. Um, and then sometimes it's just, an agent's really struggling with a deal. They've come across something they've never seen before, and helping them navigate through that as well.
Brilliant. So one of the things, I happened to be at your office on Wednesday, and you said, I've got an agent coming in for a session, and they did a no show, and this was the second time they did a no show. So what's that like as a leader? What does that tell you about the agent, and what does that tell you about how you move forward with that agent in the future?
That's a really good question. My approach is probably a little bit different to what other people's approach would be.
You use
On
tasers?
that, sorry.
You use tasers?
I use tasers. Yeah, I go to their house and I taser them, and then I drag them into the office, and then we have our session. No, I, I I don't do anything on the day of, because I always approach it from a place of empathy. I'm not sure what's gone on in
Mm,
their day today. There's a for most people are very, very good with in terms of essentially keeping the appointments that they've made. And if they can't, then they reschedule, or at the very least, let me know ahead of time. If there is somebody who hasn't let me know, and that does happen, there's probably a good reason. And a lot of times, you don't know what someone's going through, what challenges they're facing, and there could be nothing happening in their life, but they or it just sometimes you're in a funk and you can't get out, and even getting out of bed is hard. So on the day of, I don't want to compound how they're feeling
mm.
by reaching out and saying, hey, we didn't show up, are you serious about this business or not? That's the last thing I want to do. What I want to do is give it a day or two, then reach out to them and just check in on them. So I'll just reach out saying, hey, agent, just checking in, I know we had an appointment on Wednesday, hope all is well. Feel free to reschedule anytime, or give me a call if that helps.
So
And
thinking
that's how I approach it.
Nice, because there's different ways of approaching it, and a lot of times it's a lot to do with mindset. Because I remember going to high school, and once in a while I got sick on the day of the test because it was like I don't want to show up and do that; it's going to turn out badly. And it was more easier to suffer the pain of missing a day of school and feel getting the wrath from that than actually showing up and embarrassing myself. But before we move on to the next question, let's just go to one of our sponsors. It's all about mindset. If you're ready to let go of anxiety, let go of uncertainty, let go of doubt, Mindset Boosters gives you the ability to decide how you act and feel in any situation. Ready to take charge of your mindset? Go to mindsetboosters.com. So, Imran, one of the things that I do is I encourage my clients to have a dossier on all the people that they lead. And it sounds very KGB, but it's really useful in terms of just in a casual setting, asking someone, who was your favorite teacher at school? And everyone has a favorite teacher. What did they do that allowed you to deliver your best performance? And just by talking about that innocuous conversation about a teacher and what happened in the past gives you clues as a leader. Oh, so they gave you a goal and then they let you go play with it and supported you where you needed it. Or somebody else might say, oh, they held my hand, walked through, and it gives us insights into how they need to be led. Because if you ask that question, how do you need to be led? People give a different answer. When you ask a tangential question, sometimes it gives you the truth of what's going on, and you can support them in the way that they need.
Yeah, that's I've never really thought about it in terms of how you phrased it, but that's a really good question, and it just kind of makes me think about my favorite teachers, and my favorite teachers were the ones that helped me realize where my potential was, because I had the tendency to get distracted very easily, be a little bit of a class clown sometimes, and therefore fall short academically. And then the best teachers, I can think of two off the top of my head. They very bluntly said, "Hey, listen, this is where you are, and this is where you should be. There's a big gap between the two. Um, you know, figure it out." And just having that realization that somebody believes in me, or somebody thinks I am worth more than the sort of the level I'm performing at, it goes a long way. And to be honest, I think this is something I also help with when I have these conversations with my agents. And it just, everyone, for most people, they're performing at a level below uh, where their potential is, and not everybody ends up meeting their potential, but at least trying to get them close to that. It's important.
Absolutely. And I think part of the role of leadership is letting people that you're leading borrow your confidence in them, and that allows them to go on the journey with you. And if there isn't that level of trust built up between you and someone you're leading, then that's hard for them to leverage your trust in them. So talk to me about how you build up trust with your agents. Maybe think of two different people, maybe a top performer that comes to mind and how you built up trust there. And then also think about somebody that's struggling. And then you think of that specific person, how I built trust there would give us some insights on how to build trust.
Yeah, the top performer is an easy one, because the top performer usually leans on you for something very specific, and they when they approach you, they don't approach you with from a hierarchy perspective, because they already have a lot of self belief and confidence. Their portfolio speaks to that, so you have to show they'll want something very specific from you, and it could be help with maybe just a direct mail campaign, just as an example, and how to do that, because they've never done it, and then you try and come up with a plan for them, or they're trying to upskill themselves technologically, and you try and help them with that. So with a top performer, it's usually easier, because you don't have to do any of the groundwork in terms of working on their self belief, their confidence, their self esteem, or even helping them realize their own value. And then working with somebody who's hasn't hit the heights that they should be hitting. They're usually at a place where they really are struggling with their lack of self belief, and when that happens, they don't have any clarity. They don't have clear headedness, and usually they're stuck in a cycle of inaction and anxiety. They don't take action, causes them anxiety. They have anxiety, so they don't take action. And with them, you just have to go to the basics. Why are you in this business? What made you get into real estate? And I don't settle for an answer until I hear the truth, because someone might say, "Oh, I like houses," and I say, "Well, become an architect. You'll get to design them." Or they'll say, "I like helping people." Well, become a social worker. And eventually, you realize the answer lies somewhere between their them being financially motivated and wanting to have their own business. And that's where really the answer lies. And once they have that realization, then you challenge them a little bit more. You help them realize what they need to run a business. And I mentioned it briefly on Wednesday. I always bring it down to three things, and because I like to keep things simple. That's how you have clarity of mind as well. The first thing is your daily activities and habits. They're so important. You create a schedule, you fill that schedule up so that you aren't caught in a cycle of inaction. And the number two thing is having systems. Any business in the world requires systems and processes. Systems help you build a pipeline of business. It helps you streamline your sales. It helps you improve the experience of your customers as well, right? And the third thing we are in sales is lead generation, which is meeting people. So just find a way to meet as many people as you possibly can, create touch points, and cultivate that relationship. And there's so many ways to meet people. You just have to figure out two or three ways that where that that where you will excel.
That work for you, absolutely. So Imran, as you lead these agents, you probably come across limitations in yourself. Like you're pretty high up there, highly evolved, but there's always another place to go. What's something that came up recently that you noticed? A, how did you notice it? And B, what are you doing to correct it?
One of the things I've noticed, and I'm not sure if I'll answer this question exactly, but a limitation within myself is I'm trying to uh, understand how AI is going to play a role in real estate, and I don't have a, a tech background per se. I have an economics background, so it's all new to me. But that's something I'm actually actively trying to upskill myself in, so that I can help pass that on to other agents or use it for myself as well, right? I already use small things like Chat GPT, but there's more to AI than that. I learned about a new app called AI, which is AI Contact, I think it's called, which helps you when you make videos, which a lot of realtors do, helps you maintain eye contact, or corrects your eye contact with the camera. Um, so that's an area, and I think that's an area that where a lot of agents will find themselves struggling, because a lot of agents already are struggling with social media. AI will take it to the next level, and the agents who really understand AI and really leverage it are going to excel. I was talking to one of our top agents yesterday, and his uh, what he really focuses on is TikTok. And there were other top producers in on that table, and they were, they were shocked. They're like, "How are you getting business from TikTok?" Because we just thought it was generation Gen Zs who are on
Right.
TikTok. How are they buying homes? But he said, "I get leads on TikTok," and I think AI will take it to another level after that.
Brilliant. I was at a sales conference a couple months ago, and they had a slide with about 300 AI applications for the sales process, and that was 2 months old, and more had come on the landscape. So yeah, it's going to be an ever changing landscape, and AI is going to be a critical part of it. So Imran, in life, things get in the way, and one of the things getting in the way today on our conversation is we've got construction going on, and all of a sudden they decided to run their router right now. So I'm going to end our podcast here because it's streaming live, so we don't irritate our guests. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll do a longer conversation real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Umar. Thank you for having me on.